Hey, everybody. Thank you for coming back tonight. We're going to do the Simple Food Combining webinar. My name is Kim Danke. I am your fast track instructor. So I always give it until 8:03 for us to get started in case someone is having a hard time getting signed in or figuring things out. So while we are waiting, if you will set your chat to all panelists and attendees. So what that means is you click on the chat button. On your computer, you might have to drag your mouse down and that little black bar will pop up and you'll see chat. You click there, then you're going to click where it says all panelists, and then you'll see the option for all panelists and attendees. So click there. Then after you've done that, please say hello if you were here last night. If you're new or refresh, all that kind of information. Who told you about Shibboleth? Just all kinds of things, because it helps me get to know you and it helps us connect. So if you'll do that for me, that'd be great. If you are on your phone and you're looking to set your chat to all panelists and attendees, you just click where it says chat, and then you'll click where it says all panelists, and then you'll choose all panelists and attendees. And while y'all are doing that, I am going to get us into the Facebook group in the new member group. I hope y'all have had a great day. Y'all let me know if you've had a perfect day today. All right, so now we're in the Facebook group. All right. Let's see. Okay, hey Loretta, hey Rihanna, Joyce Boyd, restarting, awesome. Let's see. Jennifer watched last night's session but couldn't attend live. Hey, Jen, elementary teacher from Hershey, Pennsylvania. Wow, sweetest place on earth. I get you. I get you. That's funny. I used to be an elementary school teacher and a principal of an elementary school. Deidre Reynolds, newbie. Hey there, Stacy Fogarty and I are from Flagler Beach. Awesome. Hey, Harriet Hill. Mildred Childers was here last night from Gainesville. Deidre had a perfect day. Awesome. Jennifer thinks that she had a perfect day. Awesome. Mildred, not perfect. That's what she says. Not perfect. Stephanie McNeely, not so much. Okay. I understand. We are learning though, and we're going to shoot for those perfect days. All right. Alicia Edwards, Fort Ogle. That's a mouthful. Fort Oglethorpe. Invited by Christy, enjoyed last night, ready to learn more. Awesome. And Jennifer, okay, just haven't journaled yet. Harriet Hill thinks I've had a perfect day. That's awesome. Let's see. Stephanie had a stressful day at work. I'm sorry about that. And Deidre, well, perfect. I ate what I ate. Didn't get lunch till late because of a heart attack. You had a heart attack or somebody else have a heart attack? Oh my goodness. Hey, Haley. Okay, so Haley's getting married in November and she's excited to learn about these food combinations so she can lose these pounds and feel confident. That's awesome. I'm glad you're here, Haley. I'm glad you reached out to me. Harriet Hill used to be an elementary teacher as well. Awesome. And Deidre says, congrats on your engagement. And Rihanna is a Georgia pre-K teacher. Awesome. And Tanya Cross, sponsored by Dennis C. Watched last night. Awesome. Kimberly Dudley had a perfect day. And oh, that's so sweet. Harriet said that she's praying for you, Haley. Okay, Lynn, have not logged in yet, but I think that I had a perfect day on my first day. Awesome. Okay, well, it's 8:05, so we're going to go ahead and we are going to get started. Hey, on Facebook, I see Marla. Marla's had a perfect day today and in Albuquerque, New Mexico. Let's see. Okay, Deidre, so a cardiovascular tech and someone else was having a heart attack. So her late lunch timing was off. Yes, I understand. Hey, Cannon, I see you on there. Awesome. I'm glad y'all are here. So yes, Deidre, sometimes when you get to work and you work in a field where you get to be so busy like that, you have emergencies. Let's see, Kaylin, I'm here. Is there somewhere else I need to be? No, this is exactly where you need to be. Hey, Deborah, awesome. I'm glad you're back tonight. Okay, well, we're going to go ahead and get started. We're going to share, I'm going to share my screen with you. The screen share is, I love the screen share feature because I just like for you to see me working around in what we're doing and visualize things. So I'm going to share a website with you. It's a little separate website that we use to teach, let me get all this set. The fast track, and it's just the fast track food combinations. And just please know that there's more food combinations than what we're going to go over tonight. Travis is having a class right now. I didn't know that, but if you listen, whatever you do, you need to be right here, okay? Because you do not need to talk about advanced things. That's Travis. Travis is more advanced, okay? So you got to do things right now with me. So we're gonna put blinders on. If you are not an expert at shibboleth yet, you remain in fast track. Put your blinders on, okay? So Travis is awesome and amazing, but he's like going to college. So we're going to start right here in elementary school, okay? And we want to get to college, but hey Brenda, I see you there. Then we're gonna go there later, but right now you stay here. Everybody stay here. I promise you, stay here. He's awesome, and I have everything that I've learned from him, and so, but I don't know about that, Mildred. I'm sorry about that. I'm sorry you were confused. But this is where you're in the right place. You're in the right place. So I'm going to use this little fast track website here. But I want you to know that what I am going to be teaching you tonight, there's a lot more combinations out there. So don't think that this is all the combinations. But in the beginning of anything that you start, you don't need tons and tons and tons of information. You just need the information to help you get started and get some success under your belt. That's what you need, okay? So what I'm going to do as I go over this website is I am going to read every list that we come to that's a new list. The reason I read this list out loud to you is because one of the most important things in the beginning is for you to start to familiarize yourself with the foods that go in the categories. And just having them be read to you or listening to them is going to help you start to familiarize yourself with that. Now, some of these foods, when I read them, you're going to say, yuck. And some of these foods, you're going to say, yum. I want you to know you don't have to eat anything that you don't like on planet Shibboleth. There's plenty of foods in these categories, okay? But I would say that if you are taking notes, write down the ones that you like in the categories, because that's a really important task for you to do this week, is to come up with foods that you like in the different categories. And then we're going to go over cooking oils one time. We're going to go over the condiments one time. Now, the cooking oils will be a recap from last night. Condiments we haven't talked about yet. So we're going to hit those. And then after that, it's going to speed up a little bit. We're going to hit some different combinations that you could put together. And then we're going to talk about some other foods. So that's what is going to go on tonight. So category one is a lean protein. You can have 2 to 8 ounces. And if you're wanting to think about how much can I have, ladies, right 2 to 6, men 2 to 8. But I do want to make a suggestion. I would not skimp on my protein, okay? I wouldn't try to skimp on it. So you want to make sure that you have enough protein so that it keeps you full and satisfied for 4 to 6 hours between meals. You're going to need to have that in there. So I would not skimp. Now, if you're a much smaller person, you might not need 6 to 8 ounces, okay? You may need in the 2 to 4 ounces and then that kind of thing. So it kind of depends, but just don't skip. Don't be hungry if you don't have to, eating within the guidelines, all right? So egg whites are a lean protein. All of your fish are here. Chicken breast, turkey breast, pork tenderloin, boar's head turkey, boar's head chicken breast, boar's head London broil, low-fat cottage cheese, fat-free cottage cheese, Greek plain yogurt, Hebrew National 97% lean beef frank, one length, and 96% lean ground meat. Okay, so those are just some small list of foods that are in category 1. This 96% lean ground meat, obviously that's that ground meat that you find in the meat section. It can be chicken, it can be turkey, it can be beef, it can be any of those. When you're looking right here at cottage cheese, you're going to find your low fat and your fat-free cottage cheese here in the lean protein category, but your full fat cottage cheese would be a protein plus fat. And you're going to find non-fat yogurt and Greek plain yogurt and Oikos. Oikos 000 yogurt is also here too. And you'll notice that it says boar's head. So that looks like we've got a very brand specific thing. So the reason that boar's head is mentioned is because we do know that it is a leaner meat. And so it's mentioned. But please know that there are a lot more options of deli meat in the food library. It's just that we mentioned the leanest right here when you're just getting started. And this is where you're going to find pork tenderloin, but in Canadian bacon, by the way, Canadian bacon is also in a category 1 lean protein. But most of your other pork products are going to be category 4, protein plus fat, except for Canadian bacon and pork tenderloin. Now, here's something important about the pork tenderloin. If you do have some visible fat, if there's visible fat on the pork tenderloin, go ahead and trim that off, because see, this category 1 lean protein is something that'll help keep you in efficient fat burning if you are having a energy carb with it, and we don't want to have our energy carbs with anything that's got fat on it. So if there's any visible fat on the pork tenderloin, just trim it off. All right, so let's talk about cooking oils real quick. So you can have up to a tablespoon of those if you need that when you're cooking something. So MCT oil is our most highly recommended oil, medium chain triglycerides. Medium chain triglycerides are they're shorter fat lipid and they're not as dense, okay, and they burn up like that. Where we've been using long chain triglycerides, olive oil, canola oil, and vegetable oil, those are a longer fat lipid and they're very dense. They take a long time to burn up. So remember last night when I said that we want to access stored energy for the energy that we need daily, and if we're giving ourselves unapproved oils, our body's always going to work through that first, and it's going to have a hard time ever making it to the stored energy. So we've got to do things that we ingest that are going to not be problematic in getting to the stored energy, because that's what we want to access. Okay, so 100% MCT oil is the best. I do highly recommend that you buy the Zero Drag brand from our store. That's what I recommend. It has 100 calories per tablespoon, where every other MCT oil that I've looked at has 130 calories per tablespoon. So why would I want 30 extra calories? I don't. So that's why I like the Zero Drag. You can also use coconut oil, but remember, Rihanna, I think as long as it's the Oikos 000, I think it can be the flavored. I don't eat yogurt. So, but look it up in the food library to be sure, but I'm pretty sure that all of the Oikos 000s will work, but just verify in the food library. Okay, coconut oil is 66% MCTs, so it's not 100%. Hey, Patty, glad you're here. And then ghee butter is butter. It just has all the milk solids pulled out of it. So it is a clarified butter. So it'll work too. But it's 40 to 45% MCTs. So you see how we got good, better, and best here. And of course, this ghee butter is in there so that when we're living the lifestyle and we need a butter flavor, then we have an option, okay? You can also use 0-calorie cooking spray. Now, here's how I make my differences. If I am cooking a protein plus fat, then I use a 0-calorie cooking spray, sometimes known as PAM, okay? And I use a MCT oil when I am cooking a lean protein. So I just simply make that decision to do it that way. Okay, so let's go over condiments. Sometimes you need a condiment to make a food taste like it should. So, chicken is pretty versatile, right? You can make chicken taste like Mexican flavors. You can make chicken taste barbecued flavors. You can just take chicken and put stuff on it and make it taste like what you want it to taste like. But usually a condiment is what is creating that flavor. So we want to be able to use condiments, but within reason, within reason. There are a lot of things that can be used as condiments. Well, because there's so many things that can be used as condiments, not every single one of them is going to be found in the food library. So we give you a rule around condiments. So let's say that you're walking through the grocery store and you think, I wonder if I can use this barbecue sauce as a condiment. But instead of pulling out your app and looking it up, which you could, and you might do that in the beginning, but I want you to develop this confidence. And I'm going to give you a story in just a second that will help, that shows you that it helped me develop a confidence around picking condiments. But I might have at first pulled off my app and looked it up. Is Stubbs barbecue approved? I would have looked all that up. But now I really just use the rule. I use the condiment rule. So the rule for condiments is the 5, 2, and few rule. That's a sprinkling, okay? Really, that has to do with the number of calories that we're going to use. So what you're going to do is you're going to look at 2 bits of information on the nutrition label. You're going to look at the sugar content first. You want it to have 5 or less grams of sugar per serving. And then you look at the fat content. You want it to have 2 grams of fat or less per serving. And you don't want to use more than 50 calories of condiments. So you can use up to 50 calories of condiments. So what I did recently, I was going into the store to get something else, but I knew that I needed to buy some Classico traditional pizza sauce, which I like, and I know it's approved. Well, what I needed was not at Kroger, where I normally buy my Classico traditional pizza sauce. What I needed was at Publix. So I went into Publix, but I knew that I also needed the pizza sauce. So I just went back to the pizza sauce area, and they did not have the Classico traditional pizza sauce. So instead of pulling out my app and looking up the 6 sauces, because they had 6, instead of pulling out my app, I just turned all of the sauces around on the shelf, and I started scanning their sugar content. If it had more than 5 grams of sugar, I turned it around. It's out. I didn't even need to look at the fat content because it doesn't matter. I'm not going to buy it. And then the ones that were left, I looked at the fat content. And if it had 2 grams of fat or less, I left it turned around. So out of the 6, 2 worked, and I just bought one of them. And so that was me putting that rule into play without having to pull out my app and look up every little item, because every little item that's a condiment may or may not be in the food library. So you can use any 0-calorie condiment, that works fine. 15-calorie or less spices and seasonings, salt and pepper. 15-calorie or less coffee creamers if you're a coffee drinker. Salsa, salsa, reduced sugar ketchup, mustard, hot sauce, Kraft fat-free mayo. Now, obviously, that is a teeny tiny list. And like I said, not everything that can be used as a condiment is even in the food library. So you use the rule. So let's say that you want to have multiple condiments on a meal. So let's build a meal real quick right here. So I'm going to take 96% lean ground meat, and I'm going to use beef. I'm going to make myself a beef hamburger patty. I can cook that up in Mct oil, give it some nice flavor, add a little bit of good fat back to that. And then maybe I want a slice of Borden fat-free cheese. Well, it's not listed here, but I know it works. And it's got 30 calories in it. And then maybe I add some mustard. Well, most mustard is 0 calorie. So that would be 0. And then let's say I wanted a little thin slice of onion. I could use a thin slice of onion as a condiment. That'd be about 4 calories. And then maybe I want a thin slice of tomato. I don't know how many calories that is. I haven't looked it up, but a thin slice wouldn't be much. And then let's still say that you wanted a few little bits of ketchup. You could even probably put a teaspoon of ketchup on there, and that would be under 50 calories. So there is a way to get multiple condiments on a meal. You just want to be reasonable with those other things that you're using, like the tomato, or the onion. Okay, so you can get multiple condiments on a meal, but they all need to have 5 grams of sugar or less, 2 grams of fat or less, and you don't want to use more than 50 calories. Okay, so what this row here that we're looking at is saying is that, well, one, you can have lean protein by itself. All right. Let's answer this question. Last night, I gave you 5 categories out of the 7 that you can have alone. Who can tell me which of the 5 out of the 7 that you could have alone? Man, Jennifer is on it. She's got her notes. 1, 2, 4, 7, and 6. That's right. Those are the ones that you can have alone. And so this is one that you can have alone. So we're going to cook it up in the right oil, doctor it up with the right condiments, and we would have an excellent fat burning meal. Yes, she is. Boom, that was up there. And so we're going to scroll down and look a little bit more. Category 7, shellfish. Now, y'all tell me, Category 7 shellfish is really just considered a what? Lean protein. Awesome. Awesome. Harriet, Jennifer. Yes, lean protein. Everybody got it. That's awesome. Y'all are doing awesome. So category 1 is really just a lean protein. So if you eat shellfish, then you could use it as a lean protein. If you don't eat shellfish, then you don't need to even concern yourself with category 7s. You wouldn't eat them. Awesome, Nancy. Good job. I see you on there. So you can do 2 to 8 ounces of your shellfish. You can have crab, lobster, shrimp, scallops, oysters, mussels, clams. So really anything that's not a fish, because all fish is in lean protein, anything that's not a fish that lives in water, whether it has a shell or not, is considered shellfish. So it just goes right there. And so what this is saying is that you can take some shellfish, cook it up in the right oil, doctor it up with the right condiments, and you'll have an excellent fat burning meal. So this is where ghee butter often gets used, because a lot of people, if they're going to have crab legs, like to dip it in some butter, or lobster tail, like to dip it in some butter, or maybe you're making shrimp scampi. That's got a very butter flavor. So maybe you're doing that, and that's where that ghee butter might be used. So see how this is a lifestyle? This is awesome. Okay, Harriet is asking, is this chart available on the website? It is. It is in 2 places. It is underneath the video of this that's in the website already. Awesome, Deirdre. That's great. And then it is also in lap 2. It's in lap 2, Harriet. Now, I hope y'all are working your way through the fast track laps, but this will be in lap 2. And yes, you're welcome. So we can have this all alone if we need to. Now, remember, you may not eat a lot of these things just by themselves, but this would be a situational eating. Let's say that you go to a friend's house and you want to keep it a perfect day, and they know that you're doing shibboleth and they make XYZ, but the thing that you can eat is chicken, and you wouldn't be offending them by not eating the other things. They just eat chicken. That's a situational decision. Let's say you go out to an event and they've got some shrimp out there, iced on some pallet of ice. Then you could just have some shrimp for a meal. So you could do that. So that's okay. But those are situational eating things. You're probably not going to do that all the time, but we do need to teach you how to eat and make good decisions and all the situations that you can be in. Okay, so now we have come down here to a new category. Category 2, fibrous carbs. Now, these are carbs, but these carbs are fibrous carbs. They don't bring an insulin release, so they can just about be eaten with everything, okay? Category 2, fibrous carbs. So when you are in weight loss mode, which is what we're talking about half a cup is plenty. Okay, once you get to maintenance, if you want to see if a cup will work, you can, but about half a cup is plenty in weight loss mode. But I do want to tell you, I never actually measured any of it. This is my fibrous carb hand. I just covered it up. Did this fit under there? My lean protein, my fibrous carb, boom, I cover that up. Can I see my food? I cannot. I'm good to go. So I never have actually measured that out. But broccoli, asparagus, squash, okra, green leafy vegetables, spinach, cabbage, cucumbers, bell peppers, hot peppers, cauliflower, kraut, dill pickles. So those are just that's a small list, very small list. Once you like tonight, I'm going over a small list, but if you go over into the new member food library, it's a little bit bigger than this. And then once you get into the Mac Daddy food library, it's huge. Okay, so that's why we ease you into these things through the fast track labs. All right, so you got category 1, a lean protein. And then all this means, all this plus sign means is that like you're going to have a lean protein with a category 2 fibrous carb with the right cooking oil with some condiments. That's what that is. So there's no adding or anything like that. Mildred, it really doesn't matter how you cook the fibrous carbs. You just wouldn't want to fry them up in like fried okra. But you can steam them. You can grill them. You can bake them. You can air fry them. You can do all kinds of things with them. You just wouldn't want to like do deep fried okra and stuff because that would be not approved. Okay, so you're welcome. Does everybody see something from this category and this category that you would eat together? Because that's what combining is. That's what combinations is. I don't want you to think combinations is hard because it's not. It is literally picking something from the category 1 and something from the category 2, cooking it up with the approved oil. Awesome. Jay, I'm sure you're awesome. And then using the right condiments. Okay. So that's what combining is. But you got to come up with your meals because you want to author your own meal plan. See, I wouldn't want to eat what Travis eats. Y'all might not want to eat what I eat. This is why it's important to author your own meal plan. Figure it out what you like to eat and what the swaps are that you need to make at the grocery store and what the swaps are with what is going on your plate that you're still eating the food you like, but in a way that works now. That's what this is. So this is combinations. So let's scroll down and look again. So this is category 2, again, fibrous carbs, now with a shellfish. So you see how that works? That is an approved combination as well. So you can take something. Does everybody see? If you eat shellfish, do you see something that you would eat together? You can either give me hearts or thumbs up or anything to let me know. Awesome. I see raised hands. That's awesome. Hey, Kaylin. Hey there. I see you here. I'm loving that. I'm glad you're here. Awesome. Okay. So we can use something from category 7 and something from category 2. Cook it up in the right oil. I just want to let y'all know I have not bought any olive oil, canola oil, or vegetable oil in almost 2 years because I'm coming up on 2 years being with Shibboleth, and I just decided not to do that. Yes, Jennifer, salmon is a lean protein. Yes, and Harriet said that she would have grilled shrimp spinach salad. That sounds great. Annie, I'm glad you see something you like. That's awesome. Deirdre sees something that she likes. Good. Okay. So this is combining. This is combining. Simple, right? Now, you can get more advanced. In fact, Nancy read over one tonight, and I said, "Yep, that's combining." But that person was really putting all their knowledge into that, weren't they, Nancy? They were putting everything they could into making a delicious meal for themselves. But that's where we start simple, and then we grow into some of those other things. And I'm glad that we have those people that post on Facebook so we can see what they do and learn because it gives us those ideas. Okay, so now we're going to hit superfood. So superfoods are pinto beans, black beans, red beans, soybeans. This is where you're going to find your nut butters and your nuts and your seeds. This is also where you'd find avocados, okay? Now, you might really like avocados, but in the beginning, you may want to stay away from them maybe first 7 to 10 days because you could use them really more like a condiment almost if you wanted to in the first 7 to 10 days. But there are some wow challenges and other things. I just want to make sure that people aren't overeating the avocados in the beginning. Okay. Okay, so superfoods, most of your darker colored beans are going to be found here. So if you like darker colored beans, then you could just probably say, okay, that's a superfood. Do you see this amount right here? 1 cup up to 1.5 cups. That means if you're eating it alone, which obviously is one of the things that we can eat alone. This is if you're eating it alone. If you are eating it in a combination, you're not going to be able to do a full cup of that. It won't fit underneath your hands, okay, with other foods. So this is if you're eating it alone. And what this is saying is you're going to take the right condiments and you're going to doctor this up. What category do you not see here anymore? What is not listed right here? The category one isn't there. There is a combination. There is a combination. So it's definitely not there, Kaylin, but you can do a combination with a category one in here. But yeah, okay. So Jay and Mildred. Jay, I hope I'm saying your name right. Um, yeah, Delicia, fruit. Hey, Delicia, I'm so glad to see you on here. Fruit is not there for sure. For sure. No fruit's there. But the oils. Okay, thank you. The oils. Do y'all see that the oils aren't there anymore? That's because these superfoods already have good fats in them, and you don't need to add additional fats to them. So this is a food category where I would choose to use if I needed to cook something up. Obviously, you could use water, but I mean, might use 0-calorie cooking spray if there was something in there. If there was something in there that needed to be cooked, I would use 0-calorie cooking spray. But you don't need additional healthy oils when this food already has them in it. Does that make sense? That's why that's the oil category left and went away. So last night, I told you guys what 4 things were in superfood that made a food qualify to be a superfood. Who can tell me what those 4 are? There's 4. They have all 4 what? All right. Yep. It's got protein, water, carbs, and fat. Awesome. Awesome. Alicia and Jennifer. Yep. Not sugar. Yep, she corrected. Okay, awesome. Yeah, so protein, superfoods have all 4 macronutrients in there. It's got your water, we've got your protein, your carbs, and your fat. So that's how a food qualifies to be a superfood. And so if it's in the food, then if it's in the superfood, we got to treat it like that. Yep, it's got all 4 macronutrients in there. Awesome. I'm so thankful y'all are listening. That's excellent. Okay, so you can have this by itself. So that's what this is showing you. You can have this by itself. But now we're coming to this one. You could do category 6 superfood with a category 2 fibrous carb. So you could do superfood underneath this hand and your fibrous carb underneath this hand. Portion control and have a lovely meal. So Travis also often says this is where you find your greens and beans. So you can get your greens and beans right here. But I want to tell you what else is hiding right here. You might not be able to see it. This is where you find a peanut butter and jelly sandwich. So peanut butter, approved peanut butter is category 6. We don't have anything right here that's listed out our breads yet. We're going to go over those in a minute because there are over 60 approved bread or bread type items that you can use. But we're just going to say that you're using a Sara Lee 45-calorie delightful, the multigrain flavor. And you're going to, now I use the multigrain flavor. There are some other ones that are approved. I don't think the honey wheat in that one is approved though. So you just want to make sure that you look up the bread that you're purchasing and making sure. So category 6 superfood could be peanut butter with category 2 bread, and use sugar-free or sugar-free jelly as your condiment. Now, it could be the low sugar Smuckers, and then if you don't like sugar-free things, there is a good jam made with stevia that you could use, okay? So this is where a peanut butter and jelly sandwich is, and Nikki Kyle lost 92 pounds eating peanut butter and jelly sandwiches, okay? Because that's her favorite, and she eats one every day. Let's see, Jennifer. So would an approved English muffin category 2 and peanut butter be approved? Yes, it would. So it would. Now, the English muffin, I love the way that Jennifer wrote that, approved English muffin. So it would have to be an approved one, which one of the ones that's approved is the Thomas Light 100 calorie. Just to kind of give you a tip, you never want more than 100 calories worth of bread or bread type items in a meal. Yep. Awesome. Good. So this is where you're going to find a sandwich, which is great. Now, also, this combination can be expanded. Let's say that you want a category 1. Maybe you put chicken breast right here, and then maybe you put some pinto beans right here and some collards right here. I don't like collards. Anyway, I just used that as an example. But maybe you did that. That would be an approved combination. You have your measuring tool, you put your hands down over it, and you eat that. So that's an approved combination too, because you could put a lean protein with this. But just remember, it wouldn't be up to the 1.5 cups and all of that, because that wouldn't fit underneath. Like if you're just using this for your superfood in a bigger combination, a 1.5 cups isn't going to fit right there. Okay. It's more like a quarter of a cup that fits there, but you're going to have more flavors on your plate, just as much food, but more flavors. Now, while we're on the subject of sandwiches, I'm going to scroll back up here and I'm going to show you where to find a grilled cheese. Right here, category 1 and 2. So you can get some Borden fat-free cheese. And the reason I say Borden is because I think it tastes the best. And they have Sharp and American, and they have multiple flavors. So I like it. And then you get yourself some category 2 fibrous carb bread. And when I'm making a grilled cheese, I use the I can't believe it's not butter spray, just to spritz a little bit on there on the grill, and I make a grilled cheese. And then if you really wanted to have something yummy with it, you could do one of our HealthWise soups from the Shibboleth store. And it is a protein, a high protein soup. So you could have soup and sandwich. You could have a fat burning soup and sandwich when they're usually not. So, okay, we're going to come down here. We have a new category. Category 4, protein plus fat. Now, look right here. It says 2 to 6 ounces, 2 to 6 ounces. Here's the reason why the ounces went down just a little bit, because we've looked at everything. See, what's so awesome about Shibboleth is that you don't have to do all of the work in figuring this out. We already have it figured out now, and we just tell you what to do. Now, I know over time you're going to want to figure out these things on your own, but don't overthink it in the beginning. Just live with what we say and just do it and get the results. And as you continue to advance into college with Travis, then you can learn all of those other things. Okay. But I like for people to know why the ounces went down right there. 1 gram of protein has 4 calories. 1 gram of fat has 9 calories. So we just reduced the ounces just a little bit on there. But to tell you the truth, do you think I've measured this? Based on hearing me talk tonight, do you think I've measured this? I never measured it. Here's my protein source hand. Boom, I just put it right there. Nope, I never measured anything. Now, if you're a measurer and that's your personality, then we give you this information and you can use it, but I'm not a measurer. So I just use this hand. Where this does come in handy is when I'm in a restaurant and they say, do you want a 6-ounce steak or an 8-ounce or whatever? I'm like, oh, 6. I don't want to go over 6. So I'll use it to my benefit there. But if I'm just making this at home, I'm not going to spend the time measuring all that. I just put it underneath my hands and do it. So this is where you're going to find your whole eggs. See, egg whites are the lean protein, but that yolk is the fat part, so it goes in here. But it's an excellent source of nutrition. All of your cuts of steak are here, all cuts of steak. Pork ribs, pork chops, beef ribs, turkey spam. We're going to come back to that in a second. Pulled pork, beef brisket, 93% lean up to 95.9% lean ground meat, and turkey kielbasa as long as no more than 50% of the calories come from fat. So 93% up to 95% lean ground meat. That's just that ground meat that we kind of talked about earlier. But if it's 96% or greater, it's a lean protein. If it's 93 to 95.9, it's a protein plus fat. If it is less than 93% lean, it is not approved for a perfect Shibboleth day. Because what they've done with that meat is they have taken fat and added a little bit of meat to it. It's not good for a perfect Shibboleth day. So remember how I said most of your other pork products are here, but the pork tenderloin is a lean protein, but like I said, trim off any visible fat. Okay, turkey spam. I always love that turkey spam is on here because turkey spam was something that a member says, will this work? Will this work on the lifestyle? And we looked at it and we added it to the food library and it works. You may be saying, gross, I'm not eating turkey spam. You don't have to. You don't have to. But what I love about this lifestyle is we include everybody's tastes within the guidelines. Okay. So just because you see some things in the food library that you might think, I wouldn't really eat that. Well, you don't have to. If you think turkey spam's not good for you, don't eat it. But I also like to point out we meet people where they are in their journey. Okay. So in their journey, they may have a budget and they may be able to afford turkey spam. Okay. They may just like taste buds. Their taste buds just might like turkey spam. So that might do that. But let's say that you're a grass-fed, grass-finished kind of person and you've got that budget, then go for that. Okay. We're going to tell you what works. You decide on the quality of the food that you purchase. But I love that Shibboleth does not discriminate against food. If it will work, we will put it in there, tell you how much you can have of it, and go from there. You choose whether or not you want it. So Shibboleth doesn't actually promote anything that's food related that's not whole foods. We're all about whole foods. What else is in this is just everything else that people want in a lifestyle to make it sustainable, practical, and fun. Okay, so let's see. Yeah, now I'm just going to say Deirdre's saying that wants to try some turkey spam. The turkey bacon was okay. I tried some turkey spam. I hadn't eaten turkey. Okay, so when I was a kid, fried spam sandwiches, and I liked them, but I quit buying spam. I decided spam wasn't good. And then when it came across Shibboleth, I thought, let me try this turkey spam. I didn't like it, but that's just me. I didn't like it. Now I do like spam, but I'm not eating it. I mean, those are just my choices. Okay. Now, category 4, you can eat by yourself. So let's say that you just want to make yourself some eggs in the morning, some scrambled eggs, totally fine. You can have that by themselves. Ladies, 2 eggs is really a good amount for you. Guys could go up to 3 if they wanted to. So you can have a category 4 by itself. This comes in handy a lot for me because I go to a lot of luncheons. In my job, I do a lot of networking and I network at a lot of luncheons. So when a luncheon is there, you just a lot of the foods aren't combined properly. And often I'm not going to eat this, I'm not going to eat that, I'm not going to eat that, but I'll get to, oh, they've got a piece of steak. I'll eat the steak. And so that is a situational moment where I now know the right choice to make. But optimally, you'd have it right here with your category 2, fibrous carb. So just remember last night how I gave you the example of having a steak and a baked potato and how that doesn't work for a perfect day. That is a fat storing meal, not a fat burning meal. Because what happens is when you eat that potato, and I know I repeated this last night, but I like to repeat it because you need to hear me saying these things so many times that I'm standing on your shoulder in the pantry, in the restaurant, at the stove, at the fridge, saying it. So I'm going to repeat it. When you eat the baked potato, it elevates your blood sugar. Your blood sugar, your pancreas then says, I need to secrete some insulin to deal with that blood sugar. And so your pancreas does that. But if you have eaten that potato with fat, that hormone, which is insulin, is going to go store that fat. We call that the fat bus because it's kind of like that fat bus is going around and collecting things. I kind of equate it to children waiting on the bus at school. The bus goes around and it picks them up and takes them to their destination. Well, the fat bus goes around and picks up fat and takes it to the destination, butt and gut, and we don't want it there. So let's not do that. So if you want to do that on a holiday, you can, and you can utilize up to 6 holidays in a month. But if you're wanting to have a steak out at a restaurant or at home, you just wouldn't pair that with a potato. You would have it with a fibrous carb of your choice. So you can do that. All right, now we're getting to some energy carbs, okay? Ding, 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 ding. That's what I want you to train your brain to say. Ding, 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 ding. Category 3, you must combine this properly. That's what I want you to train your head to say. And you've got to figure out what the category 3s are that you like so that you can train your brain. When you want that corn, your mind goes, "Ooh, category 3, energy carb, which lean protein and which fibrous carb am I going to have with my corn tonight?" Okay, so that's what you want to do. Kaylin is saying, can you do a lean protein with potatoes? You can, but you must add a fibrous carb. And that's what we're going to hit right now. So that actually was a great question, great timing. So category 3, energy carb. In weight loss mode, about 1/4 cup is plenty. You really don't need more than that, okay? And it's going to sit about right here, all right? Once you get to weight maintenance, if you want to try 1/2 cup, you can. But all of your potatoes, white potatoes, sweet potato, all potatoes are a category 3 energy carb. All of your oatmeal. There's a couple of other oatmeals in the food library that are a protein and fiber type that you would just add some lean protein to, but you want to consider oatmeals category 3. You got your weight control oatmeal and the steel cut oatmeal. Not all oatmeal is approved, okay? Long grain brown rice, not white rice, it would be a holiday. Quinoa, lima beans. Actually, this is where most of your lighter colored beans are, most of them. Not all of them, because like a navy bean is light, but it has all 4 macronutrients in it, so it's a superfood. This is why you got to figure out the foods you like, where they come from. This is where all of your peas are, tomato, onion, carrots, whole wheat, and whole grain pasta. So I'm going to kind of talk about these things from the bottom. Since I started Shibboleth, I've not bought any more pasta that was in the grocery store. I buy better options. So we have these options that are the Explore Cuisine. I like the Explore Cuisine option a lot. It's a category 1 and 2. It's a fibrous carb and lean protein together. So that would be a great choice. Or the carbonara pasta. It's a category 1, 2, and 3. So I just want you to know you've got better options in pasta than just these. So that's what I would do for pasta. But carrots, once carrots are cooked, they are definitely a category 3 energy carb. But if you are eating maybe just a little palmful of baby carrots that are raw, those are actually a freebie. So you could eat those in a moment of weakness. You could eat those in a moment of weakness. You wouldn't want to necessarily add them to a meal, but you could eat them in a moment of, I can't make it, I'm hungry. But if carrots are cooked, they are a category 3 energy carb. Now, onion or tomato. Now, remember earlier I mentioned that you could maybe have a thin little slice of tomato or a thin little slice of onion as a condiment. But if you're eating enough tomato or onion that equals 1/4 cup, you need to consider that a category 3, because that way you're going to keep yourself safe. Because if you're considering that a category 3, then you are going to eat it with a lean protein and a fibrous carb. So let's go ahead and do an example. Let's say that you want to have some field peas. So field peas, about 1/4 cup, going to go right there. And you're learning now, excuse me. You're learning now, I want those field peas. I know that I need to eat them with a lean protein and a fibrous carb. So maybe you get some turkey breast, and you have some turkey breast right here, your field peas right here, and maybe you put some green beans with it. That is a properly combined meal. Now let's talk about the science behind that. The field peas elevate your blood sugar. Your pancreas is going to secrete some insulin to your pancreas is going to secrete some insulin to deal with that blood sugar elevation, okay? But you're learning to eat in a way that controls insulin, right? So you've eaten some turkey breast, which is your lean protein, and some green beans, which is your fibrous carb, with your field peas. So the protein in your turkey breast and the fiber in your green beans are going to neutralize the insulin release that came because of the field peas. Now, there's something else really important in this. At 1/4 cup, you didn't overeat field peas. So you had a little insulin release, but not so much of an insulin release that the food that you eat with it couldn't dissipate it, neutralize it, and control it within that meal. Y'all just say like, hallelujah, hallelujah. I'm learning this stuff. This is awesome information. Okay, so this is a proper combination, 1, 2, and 3. Now, if you have looked at that combination chart, where we have we have the blue column, the yellow column, and the red column. This is over in the blue column. That's more like your lifestyle column. That is fast weight loss, but there's faster weight loss and fastest weight loss. And you can do this, but in weight loss mode, you might want to just save this for just maybe a couple of times a week. But not necessarily every day to get the best results that you're going for and the fastest results. Okay, so Cindy says, what about tomato and carrots on a salad? So it would need to be a very small amount. What I would look up on that is just a sprinkling of tomato and carrots. You don't, if you're eating tomatoes on a salad, that if you were to put them in a little container, and if it was to be a quarter cup or more of tomato and carrots, you need to make sure that you've got a lean protein with that, Cindy. So in honesty, I would consider that a 3, so that I would make sure that I put a lean protein with that, because your salad base is going to be your category 2. So I would add lean protein to that, Cindy. Okay, awesome, Harriet. Good. I'm glad you're saying that. Okay, so now we're going to scroll and look at fruit. And I'm not going to read that whole list because all fruit is in fruit. But I am going to read the top 4. Berries, apples, oranges, and grapefruit. Green beans, Kaylin, are a category 2 fibrous carb. Yep, category 2 fibrous carb. You're welcome. Okay, so berries, apples, oranges, and grapefruit are your best for weight loss, okay? But still, remember, in weight loss, we must eat fruit properly. So last night, I let you all know that there's 2 modes in Shibboleth. There is weight loss mode and there is maintenance mode. There's 3 differences. There's only 3 differences between the 2 modes. 1, how many holidays you can use in a month. Everything we're talking about, we're focused on 6, no more than 6, okay? 2 is how you eat fruit, and we're going to talk about that right now. And 3 is your mindset, because I know a lot of people do start this off as a diet. I know that, but you can't live like that. So you want to get into the fact that this is going to be a forever. Tomatoes, the reason that Travis puts tomatoes in an energy carb is because people tend to eat them a little bit more like a vegetable than a fruit. That's why. But they're not really evil. They're not evil. Deirdre, they're not evil. The category 3 and the category 5, both, whether you consider tomatoes a fruit or a vegetable, whether you consider either one, it has fructose in it, and it does bring the insulin release. So it's the fact that it brings the insulin release that's the problem. That's the reason we have to treat them properly. Okay, so I hope that helps. But fruit must be eaten properly in weight loss mode, meaning if you want fruit in weight loss mode, it must be combined with a lean protein and a fibrous carb. Okay, so the difference between weight loss and maintenance is that once you get to maintenance, if you want to have a piece of fruit as a snack, then you could do that, but not in weight loss mode. In weight loss mode, we are serious, heavy duty on the insulin control because we do not want to come out of EFB and mess up our progress, okay? But once you get to maintenance, having a little bit of extra insulin on a day is not going to hurt you. That's funny. That's funny. So we are going to have fruit properly. So let's say that you want to have a small apple and you're going to make a brown bag lunch. Maybe you take some chicken breast, some boar's head chicken breast, and then you take an Olay Extreme Wellness High Fiber Tortilla, because that's category 2. So that chicken breast would be your category 1 lean protein. That tortilla would be your category 2 fibrous carb. Maybe you then take one of those, the Laughing Cow wedges, the Laughing Cow cheeses that come in those round things, and they're the wedges inside there. Maybe you take one of those, spread it on your tortilla. I might even take some everything bagel seasoning sprinkle that in there. You could even put spinach in there or lettuce, and then you've got your chicken breast. Wrap that up. You have a delicious wrap that's really just a 1 and a 2. You had multiple 2s in my example that I gave, and that's okay. You can have multiple category 2s. You just still want a portion control. And then that small apple could be eaten with that. Okay, that's a great lunch. It's a great lunch. So you just want to make sure that you combine fruit properly when you are in weight loss mode. Okay, so now what we're going to do is we're going to talk about some other just random foods that you should know about. And then just continue to work your way through the fast track laps, which I'm going to pop over into tonight and just kind of show you again those. But category 2 breads, there's over 60 approved category 2 breads in the food library, but we only list just a few right here. You can look in the food library and find more, but less is best on the bread, and you don't want to go over 100 calories in bread or bread type items in a meal. So you could do the La Tortilla 50 calorie tortilla, the Olay Extreme Wellness high fiber tortilla, Healthy Life bread, Bran Crisp bread, Healthy Life hot dog buns, and then we talked about those Thomas Light 100 calorie English muffins. Now this right here, this Bran Crisp bread, it's really more like a dry cracker. So if you like a dry cracker, that would be good. They're very tasty. They have sunflower and pumpkin and I think cinnamon raisin or something like that. They're very good. So you can take one of these. And so what I do is when I'm making a wrap, yes, these breads are okay for weight loss mode. Yes, they are. These are some of the best you can use for weight loss mode. Yes. Yay. Oh, just to let y'all know that tortillas are better for weight loss than bread. They have more fiber in them usually. Okay. So just a little tip there. But what I would do is I'd make myself a wrap, and if I'm making a wrap, like a sandwich, just making up a wrap. Yes, Jennifer, there's some pitas in there. The one pita that I bought in the beginning was the Joseph's. There's some Joseph's mini pitas that are approved, and there's some Joseph's lavash bread that's approved. So there's a lot. There's a lot approved, but you just want to make sure you buy the right pita. I was at my mom's house and I looked at this pita bread that she purchased, and I thought, no wonder you're not losing weight. The net carbs on that were just like 28 still. So yeah, so you just make sure it's the right pita that it's approved, Jennifer. When you look up breads, there are also category 3 approved breads. I would stay away from those. Why would I want to have a category 3 bread when there's so many good options at a category 2 bread? But if you like Ezekiel bread, it is a category 3, so you just want to make sure that you combine it properly. And I do like Ezekiel bread. I just don't eat it much anymore. So if I'm doing a wrap, I'm just going to use one tortilla. But if I'm making the fat burning chicken enchiladas from the recipe library, then I'm usually going to end up 2 because I'm eating the enchiladas as my meal and I don't have extra sides and stuff because everything that I'm eating is in that meal. So I would eat 2 in that case. Let's see. So Jennifer, to tell you the truth, I cannot answer that question because I don't know all of that. Y'all are going to figure me out. I don't like to measure and figure out all this stuff. I just went with what was in the food library. So I would just look up pita in the food library, Jennifer, see all the ones that pull up and then scan and see which ones are a category 2, see which ones you might recognize from your store. And there are some rules like that. I don't honestly know what they are. Sorry about that. Okay. Approved sweeteners. Yeah. And Mildred is saying that the condiment rule, and thank you for that. Maybe I was misunderstanding her question, but the condiment rule is 5 and 2. But the other stuff, you just need to look up and see if it's approved or not. Okay, so Jennifer, what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to take a picture of the front of the item and the back of the item, and you're going to post it in the Shibboleth Fixed It group. Kim Shibboleth is going to respond and let you know. That's how you're going to figure that out. And then if it's something that she can add to the food library because your area may have different things than our area does, then she'll add that to the food library for everybody in your area to benefit from. But if it doesn't work, she'll explain to you why it doesn't work. So that's what you can do for that, Jennifer. Okay, approved sweeteners: stevia, Splenda, monk fruit, xylitol. Anything that's 0 calorie works. Some people have an aversion to using artificial sweeteners, then just don't use it. But some people don't. So again, we're not discriminating. We just use what we have a preference to use. But all of these work. Obviously, I think a natural sweetener is a little bit better, but you can do whatever. And I kind of go back and forth. Sometimes I'll use Splenda, sometimes I'll use monk fruit. Most of the time, like I try to buy a monk fruit syrup or something. I use xylitol in the morning to sweeten my hot tea that I make. And in my purse right here, I've got this stuff right here. This is a stevia and monk fruit little sweetener, and I carry that in my purse. That way, when I'm at a luncheon or something, I will say, hey, I want unsweet tea, and I'll sweeten it up with that. I tried the stevia version of that, and I didn't like it, but the stevia and monk fruit version, I do like. But see, everybody's taste buds are different, so you got to just play and try and see what you like. Because you know how you're already really good at putting things in your buggy right now? You can walk through the grocery store and just boom, boom, boom. It's going to take you a minute to start walking through the grocery store with different eyes, but after a period of time, you're going to be buying your new thing and you'll be going through the grocery store again, boom, boom, boom. You'll get it done. Okay, water is what we need to get in every single day. Nothing takes the place of getting in your water. At least 64 ounces as a minimum, but really kind of shooting for a gallon, okay? You can have any other 0 calorie beverage, unsweet or approved teas, and you can have coffee with approved sweeteners. And there is a whole list of sweeteners in the food library. Cheese, you can use any fat-free cheese. That would be a category 1 lean protein. It can also be used as a condiment if you don't use more than 50 calories of it. And you can use this Cabot extra light cheese, which I really like. And it's actually a category 4 protein plus fat. So you'd want to make sure that you didn't do any, y'all tell me, if you're going to use a category 4 protein plus fat, there's 3. We talked about this last night. There's 3 categories that you don't put with it. What are they? 6 and 3 is correct. But the 4 is not because it is a 4. Right, Rihanna. Awesome. 3, 5, and 6. So you're not going to put your energy carbs. So for example, if you're going to use Cabot extra light cheese, you wouldn't do any grits with that because grits is a corn product, okay? You could make cheese grits with something else, but not with that. And then you wouldn't want to put any fruit with that and superfoods. So that's what you don't put with a category 4. So awesome. So just keep that in mind. Now let's look over here at these milks. Now, I don't really do a lot of milk, but I am so thankful to know that if I want a certain milk and that it will work, like I'll use it in recipes and things like that, then I use this, the fat-free Fairlife milk or the Kroger Carb Master milk. So those are both no fat milks that have been fortified with protein. This is huge. You need the fortification of the protein. Do you know that whole milk is fat and sugar? Fat and sugar. Think about that. Fat and sugar. Does that sound like the right combo? Based on what you're learning tonight, is that the right combo? We'll talk about almond milk in just a second. Right, Alicia. Fat and sugar is not the right combo. That's whole milk. It's out for a perfect day. Let's talk about skim milk. Guess what it's full of? Sugar. We don't want that either. So it's out for a perfect day. You can do the fat-free Fairlife or the Kroger Carb Master milk. They do have a long shelf life. You're right. And they are fortified with protein. So if you are drinking this as a lean protein as part of your meal, then you can have up to 8 ounces. And let's say that you're just drinking a big old glass of milk as you run out the door somewhere in the morning. You could do up to 16 ounces and call that a meal replacement. Call that a lean protein. That's fine. You could do that. This is very important when it comes to talking about cereal. And so we're going to talk about that when I get over here to cereals. We just have a few minutes left, y'all. We're about finished. Breadings and flours, coconut flour, carb quick flour, Bob's TVP, which is a textured vegetable protein, almond flour, All of these are category 2 fibrous carbs. So you can use them to remember earlier when Mildred, I think it was Mildred, asked me about how you could cook fibrous carbs, and I said you just don't want to deep fry it. Well, let's say that you want to take some okra and you want to put some Carb Quick on it, which is the good version of Bisquick. You can fry those up in the air fryer and it will be delicious and it will taste similar to fried okra. So there's things that you can use here. You can also make approved biscuits. Amen. And you can use gravy, the right gravy. You can have gravy and biscuits. Okay. So we got, I mean, obviously we're going to be working into these things. Let's not make the biscuits tomorrow unless you stay at home and you have time to figure all that out. But these are things we're going to work into. So you can use these breadings and flours. Let's see. Kaylin is asking about protein shakes. Can those be a breakfast meal replacement? Yes, yes, they can. Just make sure that your protein shake that you want to use is made correctly, usually with water. If you're using 2 scoops of whatever your protein shake is, you use water. If you're doing 1 scoop, you could use some Egg Whites International, which is egg whites, as another protein source to umph it up a little bit. And also it kind of makes it frothy. People like that. You can also use a lean protein milk, but you don't do that on top of 2 scoops, depending on your shake. So make sure that you read about your shake. Also, make sure that your shake is approved. So what I'm going to do, Rihanna, is when I finish this, we're going to hang on and we'll look up those Atkins shakes, okay? Because I'm going to show y'all what I do whenever I want to know if something's approved. But let me tell you this story. The shake that I had been drinking for years, thinking that it was great, was not approved. It was not approved on Shellfish. So I don't buy it anymore. But see, that's funny. That's what we don't know. And then Kim Shibboleth told me why it wasn't approved it had too many sugars in it. In the Shibboleth Fixed It group, when I took a picture of the front of the item and the back of the item when I didn't find it in the food library. And of course I thought it was good and it wasn't. Yeah, you want approved shakes. There's a lot of approved shakes, a lot. Let's see. So the right milk counts as a lean protein and the right flour counts as a category 2. Yeah, that's right. That's right. Okay, I'm not going to go over condiments, but I am going to talk about cereals real quick. So cereals, there are a lot of options for cereals, but most cereals are not that great for weight loss, okay? They're kind of starchy and they're really not that great for weight loss. So your best cereals, if you need or want cereals, is Kashi Go Lean Original, K's Natural Cereal, or the High-Low Nutritious Living. So what we're going to do is we are going to pop over right here. I'm going to just click on a link because I want to go to the food library, and I knew that clicking there. See, even this Kashi Go Lean is a 0 on the weight loss meter, meaning it's just not going to help you, not going to hurt you. Okay, but look, what I'm looking for, do y'all see where it says categories right here? I'm scrolling down to cereals. Do you see where it says phase 1 cereal and phase 2 cereal? Okay, I'm going to click phase 1 cereal. And I'm going to show you the list. That's the list. That is not a huge list. That's okay. Like I said, we do not need thousands of food. We just need the ones we like and that work. So these are going to be your best cereals. Now look, there are some cereals that are pretty good for weight loss. These have been fortified with proteins pretty heavily. Okay, but if they're a 0, it's just not going to help you, not going to hurt you kind of. So the reason I wanted to come to here is because the question about almond milk came up. I would for sure use the unsweetened almond milk. It is a category 4 protein plus fat because it's made from almonds, which is a fatty nut. And so it's a protein plus fat. So if you want almond milk, you can have it. Just make sure that you have it appropriately. If you are wanting it with cereal specifically, you got to have it with one of these cereals only. Okay. But let's go back over here and look at these cereals. AHS is Advanced Health Systems. It's a brand name. Yeah, it's a brand name, Jennifer, and we sell it in our store. It's not found in the grocery stores. Okay, phase 2 cereal. You're going to see a whole bunch of things in here, including those Reese Puffs that Deirdre mentioned. It's generating the list. It's a little bit longer, so it takes just a second. And if I've missed any questions, believe me, I've got an order in which I'm planning on going back and answering them. Okay, so yeah, Reese Puffs is in here, but let's just kind of look at Captain Crunch. See these Captain Crunch cereals? You would not want to have almond milk, unsweetened almond milk, or anything like that with this cereal, because that would be fat storage. What you can have with a phase 2 cereal, if you're eating a phase 2 cereal, which I discourage in the beginning, okay, because it's not going to be the best for weight loss. So you're rarely going to see any negative numbers at all in here. So that's really not great for weight loss, okay? But if you wanted one like on Saturday morning, this just made you happy to have some, it's not going to throw you out of EFB. It's just not going to be the best for weight loss over a course of time, okay? If you did it every single day, you might not see the results that you want. But if you were going to eat any of these cereals that are in this list, you must have it with those lean protein milks that I said. All right, so let's go back here real quick. Restaurants, I am not going to read these, but what I do want you to do is I want you to go into the restaurant guide. I want you to look up the restaurants that you frequent the most often if they're listed in there. And then see some things, scan it, and see if the things that you order already are there. And maybe you just read that and you just need to tweak your order a little bit. Or maybe it will broaden your horizons for what you can order at that restaurant and you read. So I'm going to let you know that we do not leave anything to chance for y'all. There's nothing left to chance. We tell you exactly how to order it and what to do. So the most important thing is to look things up. You're going to be looking things up a lot in the beginning, but then over time, I mean, I can tell you right now, when I go into Chick-fil-A, I want 8 fried nuggets with a side salad, light Italian dressing, and a diet lemonade. See, do you see how quickly that rolled off my tongue? That's because that's what I order at Chick-fil-A. That's what I order at Chick-fil-A now. And if you want to look over there real quick, you could do 8 or 12 grilled nuggets at Chick-fil-A. Or if you're willing to give up 4 nuggets to get the fried ones, which I am, then you could do 8. You get it with a side salad, and the dressing that they have that is approved is the light Italian, but you could always take your own. And we call that having a survival kit, taking your own. At Chick-fil-A, you can also do their grilled filet, their fried filet, and their spicy fried filet. You're just not going to eat it with their bun. Of course, you're not going to order French fries unless it's a holiday. If you want that, you can have that with a side salad. Now, if you're the type person that really wants bread, or you want a tortilla, or you want something around that filet, then just take your own and you can do that. The diet lemonade that I ordered, that is an extra. Remember how we've talked about you can have an extra? Those extras are just those little fun things that we have determined that will make the life sustainable and enjoyable. Now, if I am at lunch and I have a diet lemonade, I know that's an extra. The reason it's an extra is because the diet lemonade at Chick-fil-A is not 0 calorie. It's 50 calories. So we consider that an extra in that particular case. Now, let's say that I'm used to having a little chocolate patty that's an extra later on in the day. Well, I'm not going to do that because I've already had an extra for the day. See that this is a management system. You just kind of learn what the things are that you like, and then you use them to help you manage and make good choices and decisions daily. Okay, so okay, if you need to hop off, you can. I totally understand. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to go back up through these questions and make sure I haven't missed anything. Let's see. So, Deirdre, on these chocolate fixes, because Shibboleth brought chocolate back into my life, I would do the chocolate bars, which are from Power Crunch. Let me show you what those look like. I'm going to put, these things are delicious. And so if you were to eat the entire bar, it is a snack or a meal replacement. Okay. But do you see how this little scoring is on there? It's scored. So what I do is I break it. I break it into 6 little pieces. And if I have not had a condiment with a meal, then I'll have a little bit of that after. Delicious. And then I could also have 1/6 of that for an extra if I wanted to in a day. So there's a lot of chocolate on this lifestyle. Okay. All right, let's see. Okay, and then yeah, Kaylin, there's a lot of approved shakes. I mean, absolutely a lot. Because what we're going to do right now is we're going to look up the Atkins shakes. So you see where my search bar is in the food library? So I'm going to type in Atkins. I'm sure they're approved. I just want to show y'all what I do because this is really important. I put in Atkins. I just put in as little as possible to bring up as many things to look at. There's a lot of Atkins stuff approved, so that's why it's taking a minute to generate. Okay, so Atkins. Let's come scroll down. And look, I got to hit show more. Oh, no, I don't. There they are. There's Atkins protein powder. Here's the Atkins ready to drink. See, RTD. See where it says RTD? That means ready to drink. So this wouldn't be a protein powder where you'd have to mix it on your own. This one is ready to drink. The iced coffee protein shakes, any flavor. Protein rich energy shake, any flavor. Protein rich shake, 11 ounce, any flavor. And then the 16.9 ounce, any flavor. So all of those are approved. So whatever shake that you currently use, if you use one, just go in here and look for it, okay? Can't find it, take a picture of the front and the back, post it in the Shibboleth Fixed It group, and you will be able to see if that can get approved. Kaylin, there's two Kaylins in here, Kaylin Morell and Kaylin Myers. What about protein shakes? Yeah, so any protein shake. Now, do y'all want to know the absolute best protein shake? Just scanning back up through there to make sure. Okay, and Jennifer, I see you've got a question. I'm going to come back to that in just a second. I'm going to show y'all the best protein shake on the market. Oops. This is the best protein shake on the market, okay? It's a -3. It is a meal replacement. And look, there's lots of different ways that you could read it and use it. I will take 1 scoop of this and I will mix it up with a Healthwise hot chocolate or the Cocoa Ringa, which is not a high protein product, but it's a superfood. I mix a little ice in there and it tastes like a Wendy's Frosty to me. I eat a lot of these shakes during the summer because I will sit on my back porch or my front porch and I'll fix my protein shake up. I put it in my Yeti cup and then I will eat it with a spoon and it takes a long time and I feel like I've had ice cream and I just enjoy my time with it. I rarely use during the winter because I usually do it cold with ice. So it's funny how we have our little habits. But this is the best protein shake on the market. Here's why. This has all of the essential amino acids in it and all non-essential amino acids in it. And it's the only one that has all of the non-essential amino acids in it. We sell this at the store or like right here. See, you could, oh, by the way, let me tell y'all something special. If we don't sell something in our store and you want to get it on Amazon, come to the food library and go through the link right here. It will help the Shibboleth ministry. Okay, because we'll get 4 cents on the dollar, but every bit helps and we don't charge much to get in. So every little bit that comes in multiple ways helps us keep everything going. So Jennifer is asking, 1 snack and 1 extra are allowed to have a perfect day. Yes, yes. Now, obviously, less is best, and you don't want to try to be getting food in just for the heck of it. I would only use those if I needed them. I wouldn't be making a plan to figure out how to get them in. I would be figuring out a plan to how to eat 3 meals a day. But then if you have a moment, then you can use an extra or a snack, and it would still be a perfect day. Yes. Okay, hang on 1 second. Let's see. Awesome. Awesome. As y'all have to leave, I understand. Good night, everybody. I'm so glad that you were here. let's see, at work today, I couldn't get from lunch to dinner without something. And I totally understand. And you can use that. You can use something. See, what's so great is we have those things that we can use. And then when you're at work, maybe you end up using something, but like, let's say on the weekend, maybe you say, no, I'm just going to do 3 meals today, or that kind of thing. See, that's what's great about this lifestyle. There's good, better, and best, and you can make those decisions for you. But let me just say something. Oh, good, Teresa. I'm awesome. I'm glad to see that. One of the things is this. My train of thought went away. Oh, well, maybe it'll come back. It was good too. Darn it. Okay. Yes. So make sure you're getting in all your water, Jennifer. Good night, Harriet. Yep, I understand, Alicia. Thank y'all for being here. Thank y'all for being here. Um, what was that I was going to say? I don't know. But this is a wonderful and doable lifestyle. I'm glad that you found it. I want you to know that I knew in the back of my head that in my heart, I knew that there were some secrets. I knew it. And I found it. And this is it. So now all we got to do is just stick with it, y'all. We can do it. We can do it. This is a management system. You use the tools that you have to make good choices. Okay. And make sure that you're walking your way through the fast track laps. I'm going to pop back over there because I want you to see that because I want to show you where to mark this as completed today. I hit dashboard up top and then I'm going to click on fast track. If you're new, your fast track is popping up first. In lap 2, do you see right here where it says participate in the Monday Night Live webinar? You check that box because you've done that. And the website that we use tonight, this one right here, it's right there. So if you want to save it, you can save it. If you want to share it, you can share it. Awesome. Thank you, Jennifer. Thank you. Jennifer, since you're a teacher, right? You said you were a teacher. Look, I even have a pointer, a hand pointer that we can like use and point at stuff because I like teachery things. They're fun. For all the teachers that are on here. Oh, and I have props. I got all kinds of props. If you wanted to see this, this is the Olay Extreme Wellness that I buy. I like that one a lot. Okay, Kaylin, to find last night's webinar, it's right here. Now, this one actually is one from a couple of weeks ago, Kaylin, because last night's would not download from Zoom. So if you want to watch last night's for sure, and only last night's, you pop over into Facebook and you go to the Shibboleth new member fast track group because I broadcasted it into that group. So it is, ooh, look at that somebody made. Okay, sorry. Oh, is that it? No, that was the one we're on. This is last night's. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to mark that as an announcement. So Caitlin, it'll be real easy to find as an announcement. Okay, so that'll be last night's. But I couldn't get that one to download into Zoom. So if y'all are curious and you just want to see if I say some different things every once in a while, this one was from a couple of weeks ago. So all right, y'all reach out to us if you need anything. Join me in the mornings on the Shibby Show on the Shibboleth public page. Tanya, let me tell you where to go. I'm gonna show Tanya something. I hadn't had the gluten-free question tonight. So what we're gonna do is I'm gonna go to the food library, Tanya. This is gonna be really important for you. I'm glad you mentioned this. I'm gonna go into Fibrous Carbs because I know that these tortillas are there. I'm gonna look it up a little bit different. Hang on. But it's already generating, so I'm going to let it generate. You could only use a corn tortilla if it's approved, and I don't know if it's approved or not. So that's why we're going to look this up. Okay. So I just put in tortillas in the food library. Okay. So it brought up 35 results. So it says your search for tortillas returned 35 results. Tanya, look at this button right here. Gluten free. Click it. These are your choices. These are your choices for tortillas. There you go. So hope that helps. But that's what you'll want to use, because corn tortilla would bring an insulin release, and it probably doesn't have enough fiber in it to offset it and everything. So these are the ones. Yep. But that gluten-free filter can be used for anything for you. So if you're looking up meal replacements and you want to know which ones are gluten-free, boom, you just click gluten-free. But I need y'all to work through the fast track labs, seriously, because they are very important. So when you're in fast track, let's say we get over here to lap 5, and you're going to look up some freebies. You're going to look up extras. You're going to look up snacks and meal replacements. You're going to come up with these things that will fill that void for chocolate, or you're going to fill that void for chips. You got to know what'll work in its place, okay, so that we make good decisions. Awesome. Good. Awesome. Awesome. Thank you. I'm glad you're repeating that. Good. Those of you that have done fast track before, just know that I rearranged it and all of your checks probably went away. So that's a good time to redo it. It's a good time to redo it. Okay. Good night, everybody. Y'all have a great evening. Bye.